Alright, so now we're actually on to the content for this week. This week is decision making, or at least the beginning of decision making, where we try to make it so that our programs can vary what they do based on inputs from other parts of the program or inputs from the user. We talked earlier in this class about Boolean values, values that are either true or false. We need to start taking a closer look as to why these are useful. The Boolean values true and false are actually what we use to make the decisions that we want in Java. And in fact, in all other languages that you can program in. Depending on what you're doing, you may have to bring multiple true and false values together. And there are ways of doing this. These are called logical operators, and this will be the first part of this week's class. Now, as I mentioned in the first video, you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. I'm going to be a little bit less concentrated today. I'm just started not feeling well, and I don't know why, and it's really going to be a pain in the butt, I can already tell, for at least the next hour.
That's because Justin's not here.
Oh, God.
Vitamins this morning.
Did I have my vitamins this morning? The first operator that we're going to talk about is the AND operator. You can think about AND this way. I have blonde hair and blue eyes. Those are both true statements, so that whole phrase must be true. No Sig Heil. If I say I have brown hair and blue eyes, the whole statement is false, because I don't have brown hair. Same as if I said I have blonde hair and brown eyes, or if I said I have brown hair and brown eyes. No matter what way you slice it, unless both sides are true, then the whole statement is false. And I have a Word document open, and I want to be able to show you guys how this sort of works. So we have one variable called A, and we have another variable called B. Okay? If we have true and true, true and false, false and true, and false and false, this covers all of our bases for all the possible combinations of A and B. Okay? Now, the way that the logical operator in Java looks for AND is like this. A, 2 ampersands, B. Okay? So your first variable on the left side, then you put 2 ampersands like this, and then you put a B. Okay? Or whatever your other variable is. So after hearing me say this whole spiel that I just did, what is true and true?
True.
Okay, good. True and false?
That would be false.
True, all right, good. False and true?
False.
And false and false?
True. True.
No.
False.
False. Just because they're the same on both sides doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. The only thing that will make an AND operation, we're combating a mosquito as well today. The only thing that will make an AND operation true is if both sides of the equation are true. So if A and B are both true, then it is true. Otherwise, it's false, no matter what. So now, the next operator that we're gonna talk about is the OR operator. A party is good if you have cake or ice cream or both, and it's bad if it's not. If you can't have any of them. That wording's a little funny. My notes are kind of. If you only have cake, it's still technically a good party. Same goes for ice cream. And if you have both. But if you have neither, then it's a terrible party. Okay? So this is sort of how the OR operator in Java works. So we're going to do the same setup, A and B, and we're going to just set it up same way we had it before. To cover all of our bases.
And now, are all these true and false statements used in robotic programming?
Yes, you will use these. And then for the OR operation, it's 2 vertical bars. Okay, A and B on either side, and 2 vertical bars, which if you look at your backslash character right underneath your backspace on your keyboard, if you hold down Shift, you can create vertical bars doing that, if you didn't know. So, true or true is
True.
okay. True or false?
False. That would be false, wouldn't it?
True or false?
False.
Wow.
I get cake and not ice cream. Is it still a good party?
Yeah,
True.
Okay. False or true?
True. False.
Okay. Very good.
So basically, the OR is the exact opposite of the AND operation, right?
Not the exact opposite. Okay? It is true that the number of times you see true and false flip-flop with each other, but the actual operations themselves don't flip-flop. So, like, if you look here at this row, true and false is false
Right.
here, but down here, true and false is true.
Okay.
So it's not, but if you look up here, this part is true. There is a perfect reverse to AND. It's called NAND. Literally not AND. And we're going to talk about not here in a minute. But it's not a perfect inverse. So, as I said, let's talk about not. I keep having to wake my phone back up. I didn't change the settings this time to make sure that it didn't fall asleep.
Your mouth is going to fall off.
What is not true? Think about it in terms of Boolean logic. What would not true be?
False.
Right. What would not false be?
True.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the not operator, is to invert the actual value that you have. So, if we have A, and A is either true or false, it can only be in 2 states. Not, in Java and in many other languages, is denoted by an exclamation point before the variable. So, not A, okay, is how that would read. So,
False.
not true is false,
True.
and not false is true. Fairly straightforward. Now, there is, God, I hate Word. There is an order to how each of these operators work. Just like PEMDAS in math, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction, there is a specific order to AND, OR, and NOT. And it works like this. NOT always comes first. AND always comes next. And OR comes last. Okay? So, let's talk about this for a second. Let's say A or B and not C. What happens first here?
It would determine if A or B is true or false. Not say.
Not C happens first. Remember, we don't care what the variables are right now. I just want to know what happens first. So yes, not C happens first. I'm going to try to change the highlight color here. So this happens first, okay? What happens next? And happens next. So B and not C would get combined together. And then, of course, once this is all done, being evaluated, then the OR with A happens. So, who would like to try a challenge? If A equals true and B equals false and C equals false, what is the resulting value? And there's a very, very simple answer to this.
False.
No. The answer is true. What happens to an OR if either side of the equation is true? The whole equation is true. This in programming is called a short circuit, where only the first part of the actual equation has to be evaluated in order to determine the result. All Java is going to do, literally, is Java is smart enough to look at the equation beforehand before doing order of operations. If it sees something like this, it's going to say, screw it, it's true, done, I'm gone. So keep that in mind. It doesn't really matter what this produces. In fact, I can tell you what it produces. It produces false, because it would be false and not false, which would be false and true, which is false. But because A is true, this will always evaluate to true. True. Okay? Makes sense?
Sure.
Does that all feel okay to you guys here? Yes? Maybe? Okay. You wanna try one more, or?
Yeah, let's try one more.
All right. Let me come up with something else here for you to figure out. We'll do.
Now, if you wanted to, could you actually like put the not C on front or no?
What do you mean?
Like
Switch B and not C?
Yeah.
That's not going to change anything.
Okay.
Because all it would end up being is true and false, which is still false when you evaluate the and, because the and evaluates first.
Right.
After the not, and then this would evaluate. That doesn't change it.
Okay.
So this results in the same thing as the above. Okay? So let's see. Let me think of another one. D and not E and F if D equals true and E equals false and F equals false. That one was fairly easy. Basically, what happens is if there's multiple of the same operator of the same precedence that has to be evaluated at the same time, Java goes left to right. Same as with math. So not E would be evaluated, and then it would start from D and not E, and then take that and then do and F. Granted, this would actually end up being a short circuit because this piece of it would become false. Or no, it would actually be true. Never mind, because E is false. I'm sorry, I thought I had done that differently. So this would actually be evaluated to true, but because F is false, this would actually this wouldn't short circuit, but it would return false. This is false. I wish the pain would stop coming and going. That's what's bothering me right now. Is it keeps coming and going. It's driving me up a wall. So are there any questions on this piece of it? There's not. You will. Oh, there is one thing that I forgot to mention. Parentheses, like in regular math, can actually adjust the order by which you do things. Okay? So let's try one with parentheses just to make sure that you guys see how this is going to work. It really won't be that bad. I won't use anything more than 3 variables anyways. So, not G or H. And not I. If G equals true, H equals true, I equals false. What does this evaluate to? Let me ask a better question. What gets evaluated first?
Everything inside the parentheses.
What specifically inside the parentheses?
Not.
Okay. So this goes first.
False.
So this is not G. Okay. So then, because not G got evaluated, now the rest of the stuff in the parentheses happens. So what does not G or H result in?
True.
Okay. What does not I result in?
True. That would be false.
Not I is false.
Well, because you have I down below us. Oh no, false. It would be true.
Okay. And then the and gets evaluated, which ultimately results in true, because it would be true and true.
Huh. Okay, this is gonna get some good news too.
Okay.
You threw 13 out of 8, you're almost there.
Oh my god. That thing won't be done before we leave.
We're halfway there. We can do it.
Anyways, so unless there are some questions or you guys want to see more examples, this is more or less what I had on this. Is there anything else you guys want to know? Anything else you want to see?
I'll probably ask you something about this later. I'm not really thinking of any questions right now.
Okay. So, I'm going to close out this video, and we'll move on here in a minute. I think I may have that air conditioner shut off. I'm starting to freeze to death here.